Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of Ask Giri the Physio Show, Season 6, Episode 5. Today, we are diving into something I call the process of movement correction. Sounds fancy, right? But trust me, this is where science meets real life and pain meets its match. Now, here's the truth. Behind every Spartan warrior, behind every Navy SEAL, and even that neighbor who never seems to skip leg day, there is a system, a process. And the same applies when it comes to movement correction. Yes, everybody have a little bit of a movement dysfunction and pain with some movement, and when you sit for a long time or stand for a long time, you got some pain. So how to take care of that? How to take care of that movement correction? For that, we have to follow a system. The number one thing in this system is foundational mobility and control. Let's start at the foundation, mobility and control. Think of this as the plumbing and wiring of your body. For example, your spinal mobility, your neck mobility, your upper back mobility, your lower back mobility, your hip mobility, your ankle mobility, they're all so important. They're all designed for a lot of mobility in that areas. If you lack in them, then you're going to have a problem. Even how well you breathe, that's also important. The mobility of your rib cage, the mobility of your upper spine, thoracic spine, the mobility of your lungs, they all matter. So in real life, picture this. You are sitting at your desk all day, not moving much, sitting on your bum, arm rested and everything, shoulders kind of hunched, stiff neck, depends where your monitor is, or you're working on a laptop, or you're how much on the phone, ankle crossed under the chair like a pretzel. Then you wonder why getting up feels like breaking out of cement. That's not just aging. Don't blame your age all the time. That's poor foundational mobility. And here's the kicker. If your foundation is shaky, it does not matter how strong or fit you are. It's like building a mansion on quicksand. So, if you think your mobility is not great, please look at the link below for our stability and mobility. It's free and you can use it at home or your gym to improve your mobility. Second thing in the system is called fundamental movement patterns. What are fundamental patterns? This is stuff your body was wired to do since childhood. Things like rolling, squatting, pushing, rotating, and stability work. Have you ever seen a toddler squat? Perfect form, every time. Fast forward 30 years and suddenly squatting looks like an Olympic event. Why? Because life, stress, and prolonged sitting and bad habits sneak in. You know how many people I see they cannot squat? As a physio, I've seen athletes with six-pack abs who cannot do a proper deep squat, and office workers who break into sweat just trying to tie their shoes. This is where correction steps in. So you have to work on this fundamental movement pattern. Then number 3 in the system is functional movement patterns. Now we move into this important stuff. Functional patterns like inline lunges, hurdle steps, single leg balance. This is very important. Can you carry your groceries up the stairs without feeling like you run a marathon? Can you balance on one leg while putting on pants without kind of toppling like a tree? If you can't, no shame. This is just a signal your body is asking for help. You need to work on that stability and that patterns. Next in the system is control and power. Now, once the mobility and fundamentals are in place, we test control. That's when the balance screens, Y balance test, carry test comes in handy. So these are very important tests we do in the clinic, and also we can teach you how to check yourself at home as well. Then we progress from control to power. So what do we do for power? We do certain things like broad jumps, single leg jumps, impact drills, all those things. In real life, imagine you're playing basketball with your kid. You go for a rebound, land awkwardly, and suddenly you're limping. That's not bad leg. That's lack of movement control. When we train these things systematically, you just don't survive life surprises. You bounce back from them. So, if you put on your correction lens, here's how I simplify it in the clinic and with my patients. Painful movement, treat the problem. Not just where the problem is. Look at the neighbors, have a head-to-toe approach, holistic approach, and then treat the problem. Dysfunctional movement quality, tune the system. Do the correctives. Weak capacity, train the weakness. Not just your biceps weak, just doing biceps. You take care of the whole upper limb, whole control, stability, mobility, strength, power, endurance, everything. Impaired production, trim the barriers. Find out the barriers and trim it and educate the patient how to do that so that they can carry on lifelong. So, it is like a mechanic working on a car, but in this case, the car is you. And you only get only one model for life. So, don't skip the service checks. Opportunities for change. What are the big questions? When do you know someone ready to train hard? When can they return to sport? When they can start lifting heavy in the gym? When do they know when the body is ready to load the spine or load the legs? Always remember, I always tell in all the episodes, move well first before you load the movement. If you don't have mobility, don't load that movement. When they are safe to leave medical care, when they can be on their own, when they can fish for themselves. So I always had patients ask me,
Giri, am I ready to go back to hockey?
And my answer is always, show me in movement, not in words. Passing the test is not about being pain-free on the couch. It's about performing in real life, in real sports scenario. That's why reassessments are critical. Every few weeks, screen again. Don't just assume progress, prove it. And here's where the magic lies. Correctives are not just about boring drills. They can be your warm-ups, your recovery, your fillers between workouts. So, always test, always intervene, and always retest. And remember, small tweaks in movement create massive impact in life. That's why when you assess from head to toe, even if you come for a low back problem, we start from the head and go to the toe. We always look at the neighbors. Imagine being able to travel without back pain, play with your kids without fear, or age without losing independence. That's the power of movement correction. And if you haven't done your movement screening, please do it with your physiotherapist. You will not regret that. So, if you take one thing away from today, it is this. Don't wait for pain to dictate your limits. Respect the process, rebuild your movement step by step, because when your movement system is tuned, life does not just get easier, it gets limitless. You can go for that hike, you can do that cliff jumping, you can stand on one leg and put your pants on. Thanks for watching Ask Giri the Physio Show episode. Drop your questions in the comments, share this with your friend who needs a movement wake-up call, and remember, keep moving, keep growing, and keep laughing along the way. Until the next episode, bye.